All right, guys, we're here. We're back. Another episode of the Pit Chatter podcast here. Live from Franklin County Speedway. Well, actually, we're not. We are still live from the Race 22 World Headquarters, Copper Hill, Virginia, a.k.a. my desk, my office here at my home in Copper Hill, Virginia, Floyd County. Still here. We got some stuff still going on at the racetrack. Weather kind of precluded us from getting anywhere this past weekend, but that's okay. Got a couple weeks left here, rolling up on the banquet and the season opener coming up. But as I said, I'm Langley Austin. I'm the track promoter, Franklin County Speedway. Actually, I didn't say, but now I'm saying. I'm Langley Austin. I'm the track promoter, Franklin County Speedway, and your host for the Pit Chatter podcast. Alongside of me tonight, not really because she wanted to, but my wife, Kimberly Austin, head scorer for the track, does all kinds of other jobs there. Been helping me get ready for the banquet. Kim, appreciate you taking time out of your scheduled sleep to hang out with me for 30, 40 minutes.
Well, we keep doing this thing later and later every week. You're gonna have to find yourself a new co-host.
Well, I was looking into that. It hadn't worked out quite yet.
It's all right. I got you.
I was hoping to have a guest this week, but, man, I'm going to tell you what, time gets away from you. When you got to do this every 7 days, time gets away from you really fast. Tomorrow, which is today for y'all, because y'all be hearing this on Wednesday. We're taping this, recording this. God, how old am I? We are recording this on Tuesday night about 10 o'clock. On February the 13th. I got the New Smyrna World Series live Clyde Hart Memorial ASA Stars Tour race going on right now. Got about 18 laps to go in that thing. Modifieds are tonight. They got a bunch of stuff going on. Great race going on, by the way. Not that you can see it, but they got that going on tonight, and we've been watching a little bit of the Dirt Car Nationals. We spent the last few weeks watching everybody else doing some racing, and man, it's almost time for us to get down to do some racing.
I can't wait. It feels like winter's been like a year long.
Well, kind of the way our schedule fell last year, it has been long. We sort of stopped racing in September, came back with a one-off, in November, but almost December. And then it's been pretty quiet, So hopefully getting back to racing pretty quickly here. Got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of sponsorship things going on, a lot of stuff we're working on, a lot of good companies coming on board with us, and a lot of new racers and new faces and new people I've been talking to on the phone and through Messenger, and had some cars testing last week. I believe Scott Heath from Manita Tractor and Trailer Sales, which is one of our newest sponsors. He's title sponsor of the Legends division. He was testing his Legends car. He's a dirt UMP modified driver, and he's come over to race with us. He was testing last Thursday,
and he looked really good.
Yep.
He wasn't far off the pace first few laps out.
Yeah, well, his first few laps out, he's a little bit over a half a second off, but man, he closed the gap really quickly. By the end of the day, he was basically turning the lap times that they turn pretty much all the time there. He was comparing them to the November lap times on Race Monitor, and, it was November. It was almost December, and, quite a bit different weather than he got that day, because I think it was 60, 65 degrees the day he tested, and, quite a bit differently. But he's going to be a top contender, no doubt about that. We'll talk about him and that and being a contender a little bit more here as we go. It got him on board, with Manita Tractor and Trailer for the Legends division for this year. Really excited to have them on for our first sponsor of the Legends division. Hopefully our only sponsor. Hopefully we can keep them on for years to come. That's what we want to do, is build relationships. Some other things going on. Obviously we got our most popular driver. It's not necessarily a vote. I mean, I kind of categorized it as that, but it's not what I meant. It's just, this was a suggestion. Any driver, any division, you let us know on our Facebook page who you think the most popular driver is going to be. And we're actually going to do a vote. I'm going to post pictures of the top guys from this and, maybe some of our other picks and, put them on there. Ticket sales pretty much done for the banquet. We got a handful of seats that we're saving just in case somebody needs to bring somebody or something happens here late. Somebody gets going, but we're pretty much done. You've been busy with that.
I've had my hands full messaging racers day after day. Hey, got to get your tickets. Got to get your tickets. All right, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. Like a typical racer procrastinating.
They wouldn't do that, would they?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I've been busy equally for the banquet. I do all the design work here for Franklin County Speedway. Been designing all the plaques and certificates and stuff that these guys will get at the banquet. Getting the trophies ordered, getting them ready, getting all the stuff. Kimberly's ordered all the rest of the stuff that we need for the banquet. We're just about dialed in. Gotta get this stuff printed and put together, and I think we're going to spend the rest of this week doing that. And we're hopefully this weekend we'll be 100% ready for the banquet that happens next Saturday, and that way we won't be last minute trying to do everything.
No, last year was not fun. Wait until last minute, the day of, we were putting awards together, and it's better to be prepared ahead of time.
Yeah, we've had to learn that one the hard way for sure. Got the Super Bowl in the rearview mirror. I mean, you slept. That was the sleeper bowl for you. But Super Bowl in the rearview mirror. The Kansas City Chiefs, of course, got the victory there.
Thank God. I'm ready for racing. I was tired of some football.
I thought you were thinking, God, that the Chiefs won. I wasn't sure.
Oh, no.
Donald Clay, we announced that he'll be the competition director for this upcoming season. I think we're building a pretty good little staff here. Hated to lose Bobby Kirby, as a full-time guy on pit road. But we've got Donald Clay coming on as competition director. Jay Altizer our race director. Filling in the parts and pieces, on pit road little by little, cleanup crew. Putting together what I think will be one of our best staffs. Donald brings a lot to the table, I feel like, and I'm hoping that he'll have a seamless transition from racer / crew member to tech man. I'm sure he'll have his hands full though.
They say the best tech man are old racers. I mean, they know all the gray areas.
Well, he told me some cheating that he was probably doing. He didn't say specifically that he was doing it, but I've got a feeling he was. Anyways. That's neither here nor there. We're offering season passes for the first time ever for us. I know they used to do it back in the 90s. We're offering season passes. They're $250 per adult. That includes every race we have this season that we put on. If there's a monster truck show comes into town, that ain't included. If there's, some big race, somebody calls us up and rents the track for a big race, that ain't included. But everything else is included. The Smart Modified Tour races is included. Carolina Pro Late Models, Carolina Crate Modifieds, the Grand National Super Series, Star Super Stock Series, Carolina Mini Stocks, Virginia Vintage, Super Cups, East Coast Flatheads, Eastern Midgets, the Kenny Minter Classic, the Buster Carroll Memorial, the Ricky Gillespie Memorial, the Calvin Brooks Memorial, Destruction Events, all the late model races. Every race Moonshine Capital Promotions puts on this year at Franklin County Speedway is included for $250. That'll save you about $100. I think my math was $170.
That's a good deal.
That's a heck of a deal, man. Get your taxes, give them to us. We'll take care of them for you. And we'll use some of Uncle Sam's money for you there. Talked about it last podcast. I'm still not ready to put them out there for sale yet. But the trackside parking spots that you can reserve for the year or buy for the weekend if they're available, they will go on sale. I'm hoping by the end of this week, early next week, we have everything done and in the ground and set up, and then I'll put them on sale. And we'll go from there. Hopefully, by the banquet, we're all set there and ready to go. I guess that's everything. It's been going on since the last podcast. I know that with not having a guest, these things have been a little bit different. So I wanted to go down a kind of a different path, even today. Tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're listening to this for you. But right now I want to go down a little bit different path. I figured, maybe it'd be cool to hear our perspective on what you can expect out of each racer. We talked about what we were expecting out of each division last week. And those are hard to predict. It's hard to predict what's going to happen with these racers. But I feel like, she watches every race. I get to watch about half of them. Even though, she's watching them, she don't get to see everything because, when you're scoring, you're kind of busy.
I'm watching lap times.
Even with digital scoring, it's just a whole different deal. But anyways, we're going to go division by division here and give you some expectations and maybe tell you some people who, might be in the running and, what they might do and all that good stuff. So let's dive in. We're down to 4 core divisions here. So we'll start with the late models. Last year's champion, he'll be crowned the champion at the banquet here in a little over a week. Jonathan Hall, his first championship, I believe, of any kind. First championship with us, certainly. He was the Rookie of the Year in late models with us in like 2016, 2017-ish. Getting the championship this year, kind of the late model division was kind of wonky, for lack of better words. There,
definitely
last year
was wobbly a little.
We struggled with car count and struggled with getting races in. Almost every time they were on the schedule, it rained out. Got it in, got it finished up. He won the championship. I kind of expect everybody's going to be hunting him. Obviously Kyle Dudley is a contender. He's the guy everybody wants to beat, but I don't know that he'll be there every race. He's full-time South Boston, I believe, this year. He's got his hands full with some other stuff, but he'll be with us some throughout the year. But Jonathan, I think, is the guy that everybody's going to be looking for this championship.
And he's going to be hungry. He's going to want that second championship. He's going to want to show what he did this year was no fluke, that he can do it again.
Especially after the year,
Yeah.
He missed a couple races. Nobody made every race last year, which is, crazy in itself. But nobody made every race last year, and it just kind of came down to him and Kyle Dudley there, at the end, 2-point difference. And I honestly, if Kyle runs enough of the races, it may come down to those two guys again. We'll see. Darren Cockrum planning on being in the mix. But we'll kind of. I'm skipping over my list here. Jonathan Simachek, I believe he'll be back running. He's got the CCI guys down there in Winston-Salem, Greensboro, wherever they're at, helping him try to get the car a little bit better. I think he'll be back and he'll be stronger. Dakota Walls, our Rookie of the Year. He didn't make all the races last year, but man, he did a good job, and he just continually, by the last race we had in November, it felt like he was on the same page with everybody else. He's not there to contend with them yet, but he's on the same page with them.
And talking to his dad, Eddie Walls, this off season, they've got the racing itch right now. Like, they're ready to be on track racing.
Yeah, I think when you end your season the best you've been all year, you don't want to end the season. You want that next season to get here as fast as it can get here, and I think he could be a strong contender. Somebody else who's going to be a strong contender only won one race last year, but could have won them all. Jesse Arrington, he's proven to be super fast. Got great equipment, and I feel like Jesse, if he hadn't missed the last race, the championship might have been his. I know he's got some provisions about maybe racing on Sunday or whatever it is. I ain't got into details with him on that or whatever, but I feel like he could be a championship contender.
Definitely,
the way this is,
definitely a strong contender. He's always got a fast car.
For sure. Andrew Amos, not sure if he'll be racing with us or if he'll be at South Boston. That's his home track. Hard for him to travel down here every week. Darren Cochran, I mentioned earlier, I think he's going to make quite a few of our races. He got him a win there in that wild, weird finale there. Got Tyler Ashley. He's planning on running Bowman Gray full time. We'll see what happens there.
He may come back home.
Yeah. But when he comes, I think he'll be good. Ryan Collins proved to run really good that last race. I think he'll be there whenever. Darren is, I believe, and he'll be good. Matt Lawrence, he's another guy who tested last week. He tested last Friday. Young kid, Jason Lawrence's son. Jason, contender with Philip Morris at Motor Mile in the past. Matt won a race with us last year. He could very well, and he'll be eligible for our Rookie of the Year this year. And he could very well be the guy who takes home the Rookie of the Year and wins quite a few races.
Yeah, I think that, them bringing him already testing, shows his determination that he wants to be there and he wants to run good. And, already having one win, that seat time's just going to give him that much more confidence, that much more knowledge around the track.
Yeah, another guy on the points list from last year, didn't race much. Jimmy Mullins, kind of the super street division, pretty much gone. I've told him guys I consider running them a handful of races, but he's going to have to fall in somewhere here. He's been a late model winner and late model contender here in the past. I I don't think he's going to continue to let these guys in this class run all over him. I think Jimmy's gonna get up there and go, hey man, I'm not just good in super streets. I can win still in this late model division. I think he'll jump up there and be a contender with those guys. I don't know how much he plans on racing. I don't know what kind of racing they plan on doing this year. I know his daughter's got a car, which will probably keep him a little closer to home racing. But we'll see what happens there. Gennaro Palumbo, didn't run any of our late model races last year. He'll be in the late models this year. Thomas Hensley will join our late model class. He was going to run some last year, and it just never worked out timing-wise, weather-wise, his work schedule-wise. You got Dewey Smith. He's got a car that can compete in the late models now. Wayne Corprew can compete in the late models now. Taylor Ransom, Brent Bell. If Brent races any, I know he's got one of his cars or both of them for sale. I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens there, man. Our late model division had another guy come to test Saturday, but got rained on. That was Landon Nestor. He is grandson of Daryl Nestor and son of Raymond Nestor, who passed away a few years ago. But Raymond was a great little mini stock driver. Moved up to late models and did a great job. And this kid, he's going to be starting out in the late model division. He's got him a good car, and I feel like he could do a really good job. So looking forward to having him. I guess that's probably all the late models. I mean, there's some other guys. You got Dwayne Thomas. He was supposed to run with us some last year, and couple, two or three other guys that have talked about it and bantered about it, but aren't signed up to race yet, and we don't know of them. For sure coming. Somebody could come out of the blue and just dominate the season. Who knows? But let's move on to the mini stock division. Mini stocks. Obviously, champion. We had him on the first show, Josh Phillips. Right now, it'd be hard pressed to think of anybody else as being the championship contender. I think he's gonna be the guy to beat until he's not.
He was definitely strong all year, and I think that he's got that same determination that he wants to prove that wasn't just a fluke.
100%. Got him 2 championships last year, one in Outlaw 4 and one in mini stocks. Wes Goff, another guy who, he picked up the pace last year. Easily, in my book, the most improved guy in the mini stocks. He went from being, and I no disrespect when I say this, he went from being a back marker to being a guy who could contend for the top 2 or 3 spots every week. And I think while I think the field's going to be tougher and tighter this year, I think he's going to be right there again. And I think he could, pull off a few wins and. We'll see what happens. I think there's some guys coming to run in this division that, going to make it interesting, guys and girls, for that matter. Brittany Cockrum, says she's going to race more this year. I don't know.
She always keeps it interesting. She always keeps those boys on their toes.
Oh, 100%. It's fun to watch for sure. David Duncan, another guy who improved all year last year. I think we say this every year, though. David Duncan just keeps improving. Eventually we're going to be able to say he's improving in him because he's going to be beating everybody's butt. But he's definitely stepping up his game, and this is a tough division to get to where you can win on a regular basis. You look down the list from last year, only one guy won more than 2 races. For that matter, only 3 people won more than 1 race last year. Tough division to win in, and it's going to get tougher this year. Kevin Light, who ran at Motor Mile, he's planning on coming and running with us at least once or twice. And then you got Jeff Martin. He messaged me today. He's planning on coming and running with us. It's another strong mini stock from Motor Mile, 2 of them there that's coming to run with us, and then you've got Eddie Nestor's planning on coming to run with us, and I don't know if he's ever run mini stock at Franklin County. I'm not sure, but he'll be good. And then you got the rest of these guys in points. Stonewall Nicely got him a win last year. He's got him a new car. I don't think I'm supposed to say what new car he's got or whatever, but he's got him a new car for this year. Got him a really smart chassis guy working on his stuff, working on his other car too, and who knows who he might put in that thing. He's going to be good. Gary Fitzgerald, hopefully he's done pouting about the last September race, and he's ready to race because we need him in the field. He's good for some excitement and some action, and he could win every race. He's got a car good enough. If he ever gets to the point to where his driving matches his car, it's going to be lights out.
If he can ever get consistent in his head as his car is,
Yep.
He's gonna be a top contender every race.
Totally agree. Jason Campbell, he kind of started to get his feet up underneath him last year. Then kind of got his feet knocked out from underneath him by Josh Phillips. They got together. I call it racing. They can call it whatever they want. But he's got a car that he got from Gary Fitzgerald. It was the car that Fitzgerald started in. I think it's a good car. I think Jason can do good in it. We'll see. I mean, he's got to continue to get laps. Some of these guys, Gary, Jason, Stonewall, for that matter, they all just need laps. And the more laps they get, the better they're going to be. I mentioned Brittany. She got 2 wins last year. She won both times that she raced last year. So that's a pretty good indicator for her that she could be a contender week in and week out whenever she races.
Don't forget about Jason Garwood. He's planning to come, and
yep.
He's a top contender.
Yep, I hadn't got there yet, and he was a winner. He was a winner last year in the mini stock division, even though on my list he is not. But he's good. Tommy Hall, maybe they'll finally start working on it before 5:00 Saturday evening, and maybe show up to some races.
We'll get him out of retirement.
That'll be great. Thomas Parmalee, man, anytime he shows up, he's got a super fast car, and he runs good, whether it's him in it, Jonathan Hall in it, whoever's in it, really good.
And he seems to really want to be racing this year. He went
he's
to
been
the
racing
Freedom
already.
Factory. He went to Florence.
Yep.
So, maybe that racing bug's got him,
Yep.
and he could be a top contender for the championship.
He's been to all the Fs this year except for Franklin County Speedway, and that's because we hadn't raced yet. So hopefully he'll be with us on March 2nd for the Teddy's Water Hauling WinterThaw. Look forward to that for sure. Daniel Hudson was our 10th place guy in points last year, won 3 races. He sold his car. He's probably crying in his beer right now thinking about having sold that car. Hopefully he'll get him another one and get back out there. He's run a bunch of different cars and mini stocks over the years. I don't think he's ever had a piece quite that nice, but that was a great car, and I think he'll do good. Patrick Janey's the guy who could run week in and week out in this division. Dennis Holdren's got a new car for the mini stock division. I won't talk about whose car he's got because I don't know what people know and what people don't, and I don't want to share other people's news. I do. I've done enough of that in the past with the Race 22 radio.
We don't tell Langley secrets because he lets them out on the podcast.
Sorry, Darren Cochran. Sorry, bud. She mentioned Jason Garwood. He did get a win last year. He's going to be really good. Chris Amos, I'm sure, will be racing. I don't know if he's planning on moving up to mini stocks or down to stock 4. Man, I'd love to have him in stock 4 week in and week out.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking to Barry Wilson yesterday. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But talking to Barry Wilson yesterday, he'd like to get back into stock 4 and do some racing. Man, if you could put Chris Amos and Barry Wilson and Wes Givens. Oh, my God. Hold on. Let's get to the stock 4s here in a minute. I'm pretty excited about that, man. That's, if you guys can't tell, all-time favorite division, stock 4. Me and Eric Bishop basically created the rules for that division, and it's a lot of fun. Anyways, Tyler Ashley might run some races in Josh Phillips' car. That'd be a good one. Steve Delp, if he can ever quit braking, he could have some good runs. Jesse Yop had a great run at the Freedom Factory. I'd like to have them in some more races. We'll see. Got some other guys here. Brandon Divers, he hadn't raced a whole lot. I think he works too much. Needs to race a little bit more. Scott Foley, I think, is planning on running. I don't know that he's running full time, but he's running quite often, and bringing Chad Burnup with him. So that'll be some good. Man, the mini stock division, like the potential of the mini stock division here. And I didn't mention that Doodle might race. He's got the itch. I don't know that he's going to, but he's got the itch.
Hopefully he'll bring it on out.
Yeah. I tell him all the time that the only reason he doesn't bring it out is because he's scared. So we'll see. We'll find out if he's truly scared or not. Anyways, we'll jump over here to the Legends division. Man, mini stock, before I jump to the Legend, man, in mini stock, it's a lot of potential there. That's a huge potential for a division right there because there's some good people I mentioned in there, and everybody's kind of stepping up their game, and everybody's doing some work and buying some cars and doing some things. And, man, it's really exciting. Really, really, really exciting.
It really is, because the mini stocks are my favorite division there is. I know that I talk about the Legends and the stock 4s a lot, but wholeheartedly, the mini stocks have my heart.
They're a good one, man. Old school, new school, old school rear-wheel drives, new school front-wheel drives. I like them all. They're fun. Anyways, Legends division, the Moneta tractor and trailer Legends division, as we announced earlier. They'll be back for their second full year. our inaugural champion, James Folds. He'll be back, ready to go. He's got a new paint scheme. I don't know if they've debuted it yet. I've seen it, so I ain't gonna put no pictures out there of it.
I've seen it, and hopefully you're not putting no pictures out there yet.
I've been known to do things like that by accident once or 15 times. Anyways, James Folds will be back. He won 5 races last year. Him and Chris Lilly tied for the most wins last year. James pulled off the championship over Ethan Troll. That could have been an even better title battle, though. Ethan only got 1 win, but he was consistently up front every week, but he missed 2 races. And those 2 races cost him. He lost the championship by 14 points, which is exactly the number of points he could have got if he had won those 2 races. So, they could have tied in points. James would have ultimately got the championship there with 5 wins over the 3 wins. But, could have been more exciting for sure. And maybe they'd have raced each other a little bit differently had that been the case.
Maybe just a little harder.
Yep. So Ethan Troll, they're back again this year. I know they're looking to do some 602 mod stuff, which I hope they do. I mean, him and Austin Sams both good kids, got a lot of potential, and like to see them running off. I think go through the points here. Got James Folds, Ethan Troll, Chris Lilly, Austin Sams, Charlie Bills, Brad Shiflett. Those six right there. Before I even get to Nathan Week, those 6 right there could be championship contenders. 100% right off the bat right now. I don't know that Charlie Bills will come run often enough to be a championship contender, but he showed up. I think he showed up 4 times last year and won 4 times last year. So the guy is damn good, and he's one of those guys. But we ain't even mentioned Scott Heath in this conversation. We talked about him earlier, but he's going to be another guy to step in there. Nathan Wheat stepping up his program. He's good enough to win right now. He just can't get the late model out of him enough to win in that Legends car, but he's about to. They got the itch to win some races. Him and Ryan both. Kyle Klingenpill's got a new car. He debuted it last year at the Thanksgiving race. Had some bugs. He's going to work them out. Going to be really good, I think, going forward. Just a lot of good guys in this division. Caleb Gibson, hopefully they'll be back to run. I know they moved closer to Shenandoah, so they'll run up everything, running before races. Ain't no reason why Caleb shouldn't be here, week in and week out racing with us. And he's a kid. I think he was 10 years old this past year, 10, 11, like whatever it was. Super, super good. Gonna be a talent in this deal. For sure. His dad this weekend, who raced with us in the division, he's going to be in the ARCA race. I don't know when it is, later this week in Daytona. So that's pretty exciting. He's down there running the number 31 car, so be sure to cheer him on in the ARCA race this weekend. And
that's Mitch Gibson.
Yep, Mitch. Yep. I think I said that, but if I didn't, you got it. But there's some good people in that division right there for sure. Just looking down through the list, Justin Landis, he's finally getting his feet under him. He said, they got the car pretty tight for him so he can make sure that he learns. They loosened it up a little bit too much in practice one day, and we seen what that was going to look like. And, he wasn't ready for all that yet.
No.
But he's close to being ready for all that, and I think he'll do good. And I'm telling you, I think the division is well on its way. I've had 2 or 3 phone calls over the last 3 or 4 months. More than that, but about Legends cars and people running them and what the schedule is and what we're doing and how we're doing it and if we're INEX, if we're not INEX. And I've told you before, I'm approved for INEX. They said, hey, we're good. Your paperwork looks good, but I can't get them on the phone to pay them. So if I ever manage to get them on the phone so I can pay them for the sanctioning, we will be INEX sanctioned. If I can't get them on the phone, well, then we won't be. And that's as simple as that. And I'm putting forth the effort to do it, but I don't have all day to spend on that. So if it happens, it happens. And if it don't, it don't. Hopefully we'll make it work, and we'll be INEX sanctioned because I think that brings another element, brings a few more racers in from time to time.
And the Legends division at Franklin County right now is hands down. I mean, that's what everybody wants to see. It's a shiny new penny, but with the most incredible racing.
Yep, totally agree. So it's looking really good. I think we got quite a few guys that are planning on coming and racing with us fairly often in that deal, and I'm looking forward to it. The Legends are, I'm not going to tell you that they're one of my favorite divisions because I ain't got before, so they're in my top 4 for sure now. But and I used to not like the Legends cars, but man, I'm telling you what, at Franklin County they are a show. You might go somewhere. I mean, Caraway, Southern National, that type of racetrack. It's just so big. They just don't put on a great show. But man, they're lights out at Franklin County because at that banking and everything, that's a show right there for sure.
Hands down, wonderful show. Every race is a good race with the Legends, just because of the banking of the track and how compacted everything is, and the cars are so small and trying to stay off of each other.
Yeah, and the element of them having to stay off each other makes their racing just as interesting as like the stock fours who beat the crap out of one another.
It makes it that much better because they know they can't touch each other.
It does. It's a totally different. I think there's some people in that division who'd like to put their kids in a stock four to teach them aggressiveness. And they need a little more aggression, but they got to be able to do it in a way in that division. That's just a cool division. I like that thing. The open wheel, small car. That's a lot of fun. Stock four, getting to my favorite division. No questions asked. Favorite division by far. I like them all, but man, the stock fours, I just about stop what I'm doing on Saturday nights to watch the stock fours. I've just about got that way with Legends. And the mini stocks, I can't help but stop what I'm doing because they wreck every 3 laps, but hopefully that doesn't happen this year. And I don't think they don't wreck big; they just wreck. You know what I mean? They just get together. But anyways,
we
the
got
stock
spins,
four guys,
just bumps and bangs.
They just spin each other around and act ignorant. So hopefully they got most of their ignorance out last year, and they'll continue to put on a good show. But without all those yellow flags. Stock four division. It's going to be another good one, man. Wes Givens dominated the division last year with 17 wins. I don't believe he'll be running full time. I think you'll probably see him in Legends and maybe mini stocks, depending on what he gets a ride in. Or, I don't think he's got the money to go buy one. So if somebody out there's got a Legends or a mini stock or something, and you want to put a guy in it that can win on a regular basis, that's your guy. You can like him, dislike him, you can love him, you can hate him. I don't care what you do. The guy can drive. Ain't no question about it. So, but I think whatever races he does run in the stock four, he'll be contender to win.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. And like I said earlier, Chris Amos, if he decides to run stock four, I don't know that he is. I haven't asked. I talked to him at the meeting, when we, kind of dissolved, what was the Outlaw Fours. So we'll see. Rookie of the year, Jaden Austin, got 8 wins last year. Second half of the season was lights out for him. Won just about every second race of the night. They run twins. He won just about every second race of the night, every night.
I think he's even more hungry to get back on the track now.
Yeah, I've seen he's been working. He keeps his car at the racetrack, and he's been working on it, out in the cold weather, and he's been trying to get ready. He blew 3 motors at the end of the season, and he's had a tough time with that. But I think he's on the verge of getting out there, and he wants to win the championship. He's taking it pretty seriously, but he's in a division where everybody else is taking it pretty seriously too. Josh Brown finished 3rd in the points, got 2 wins on the season, but he could have won 10.
He could have.
He was right there, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, just about every week. Those 4,
Here we go.
The first 4 guys in points. Really, any one of them could have won them just about any given weekend. Wes won most of them, but between Jaden, Josh, and Noah, the 3 guys behind him, they won 16 races. So they won collectively. They won just as many races as he did, basically. So I think Josh could be a guy who could, string together a bunch of wins. Hopefully the weight change and things plays into his favor. He's got, car. His car's a little bit different. Got him on 15-inch tires instead of 14s, and he runs better with it. It's an interesting dynamic in that class. The things you can do, and he's got a good car, and I think he'll be a guy who can contend. I mentioned Noah just a second ago. Noah Hinchy, if he doesn't retire, I said he's going to retire. We talked to him on the show. He says he ain't retiring, but we'll see. We'll see who's right, who's wrong. I'm probably going to be wrong, but I'm okay with being wrong in that one. But Noah won 6 races at the beginning of the season. Kind of dominated that first half of the season when Wes wasn't winning. He was winning.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Noah was strong.
Yep, he had got to a point where he was going to whip everybody's butt every week, and then, some tech guy changed the rules and fixed an advantage that he had last year and slowed him down just a bit. And then he had some wrecks and some things that happened, and took him out of contention for the championship. But he still finished fourth in points. Will Stevens won't be back with us this year. He's moved to Florida. I'm working with them to help sell their car. So if you're looking for a great stock for a car that can win every week, a car who benefits from this weight rule for this year, this Eclipse is going to benefit from that rule. So you might want to pick that thing up and take it to victory lane this year. Holler at me if you need it. I got it sitting at the track ready to go, and we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But he won't be back with us. Michael Altus, I believe he'll be back this year. Him and Larry both will be running, stock 4 this year.
And I think they got another car.
Yeah,
I think that's what they said.
Yeah, they could have 2 or 3 cars here on a regular basis. So that'll be interesting. Josh Hinchy picked up 3 wins last year. He's going to have a good car. He's going to be a contender. He just like the rest of them, once he got into Cavalier or Sunfire, whatever that thing is, every week he was a contender for the win. I expect him to be a contender for the win every week this year that he races. Finished 7th in points, 3 wins. He had a really good season. Didn't run the entire season. Had some hiccups. Wrecked out the first race of the year, like the first, second lap, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Tore his car all to pieces. Then ended up in another car after that. Fixed that car. Got it back out there, but ended up in another car. So we'll see what happens there. John Coe's been working hard this winter, trying to get his car better. Got a nice cage in the car. He's getting dialed in for this season. Gonna be one of the contenders there for sure. Another guy who is definitely going to be a contender week in and week out, Gary Smith. We saw him come on the scene, bought a car, I think the first week of August when we were having the monster trucks, rolled that thing out next couple weeks, and bought the car from Wes Givens, who had won, at that time he had probably won 11 races with that car or something, 10, 11, 12 races. And Gary got another win with it in Stock 4, one win with it in Rookie, and was a contender to win every week with 0 racing experience outside
I was just going to say, that kid's a driver.
Yeah.
He didn't have many laps. He didn't know the track. But, I mean, he really, once he got in it and got in his groove, he was good.
Yep, certainly performed fast and was really good, and could very well be the guy to beat for the championship this year. He's got some good sponsors on board. Boone Tractor's on there with him. It's going to be another sponsor that will be sponsoring the racetrack again, not again, but this year, and. He's got some good sponsors and some good people behind him, and I feel like he's going to be really good this year. I think we talked about it with Noah a little bit. The weight rule, he's a bigger boy, so the weight rule is going to kind of play into his favor where there is no left side, right side requirements.
I think you did that on purpose.
I mean, I told you, I'm a big boy. I support big boys. You know what I mean? So we'll see how they do. You can't be skinny and get all the advantages in the world, okay?
True story.
I mean, I used to promote go-kart races at Speed Zone in Rocky Mount, which is now like a storage unit or something. But I used to promote races there, and every week we'd have to fix up a couple karts that the big boys could get. We'd have to turn them up just a little bit so they were just, now if a little guy got on one of them, I mean, they would fly. But if Big Boy was on them, they were pretty well even. So I know a little bit about evening the field out there. Austin Williams finished 10th in points on 2 wins last year. He sold his car. He had a great car, beautiful car. Sold it. Bought his Honda back that Casey Brown had been using in Divas. Bought it back, brought it back out for the Thanksgiving race last year, the leftovers, and run pretty good.
Yeah,
didn't run great. Had some problems, I think, but run pretty good. And I think he'll be back to run some this year. I think the weight rule plays into his favor. It's one of the. I think the weight rule is just going to even up some of these guys. From the Cavalier, Ecotech dominance. I think we'll see some guys be able to run some other cars and run good. I think Austin will definitely be one of them. I mean, he's proven the last 2 years to be one of the best racers in this division, and I don't know how much he'll race. I think he's getting married this year. So don't know how much
is.
he'll race, but hopefully he'll race as much as he can, and we'll see him out there and see him get some wins against all these Cavaliers. Trey Cooper, he's most laps led in 2023. I mean, only because he was a pace car driver for the last third of the season.
You take a victory where you can get one.
I suspect as pace car driver in 2024, he's going to lead the most laps this year. I mean, I would be surprised if he didn't. So we'll see what happens there. He won't be in the division regularly, I don't think. He may try to run a race here or there. But you got Keyshawn Clater, who did pick up a win last year in Adam Hollingsworth's Honda. I think he could be a guy who could contend. I think he's got a couple tricks up his sleeve. He's found him a car, and I think he could run really good, really good. Adam Metzger got him a win last year. Didn't run but 2 or 3 races last year. If he races, he'll be a contender. T.J. Smith got one of the fastest cars. I don't know how the weight rule will play out for him, but he's got one of the fastest cars last year. Run really good. I suspect he'll be in the field some this year. I don't know how much he'll race. He doesn't seem to race a lot, but hopefully he'll run a little bit more this year and get up there. Chris Meeks finished 15th in points last year. Didn't run but a handful of races. Had some issues. Blew a motor. Planning on running the last race of the year. Blew a motor. Ended that. But he's champion from 2022. Hopefully he'll be back more often this upcoming year. And, just some other guys in the list here. Ryan Woods said that his car, he's letting his niece, I believe, take over that car. I think she's 13, 14, 15, something like that. She's going to take over and drive the car. She wants to race. So he's going to let her race. So I think that'll be great. Patrick Janey Jr., that'll be another guy who could be good in this division going forward.
Get him some more laps, get him some track time.
Rob Hitt may be moving down this way. If he does, he'll be racing some more. They come from Maryland as often as they can. Paul Caldwell's registered for this division for the year. Chris Pennick, who races at South Boston, he's registered this year already. That Eric Sims said he planned on running pretty regularly this year. Jeff Altus only ran that last race last year. I think he might be the third Altus car. We'll see how that goes. The Sandridge boys got a car right at the end of the season. Raced with us. They could be contenders. Angie Campbell, if she decides to go on and move into the Stock 4 division after winning the Divas Championship this year, she would certainly be a contender. She's got a great car. That's a lot of people in that division, and there's other people that we don't even know about. I mean, there's people messaging me every day about Stock 4s that I have never seen their phone number, don't know who they are, and they're talking about running Stock 4 regularly. Hey, where do I register my number? Blah blah blah. And there's another girl that's registered, I believe, on the number registry. And
there is.
I mean, I'm telling you, it could be really good. Looking at some of the other kind of dissolved divisions that could play a role here. Jeff Inman and Joey Scott. Joey's got a Stock 4. Jeff Inman could buy a Stock 4.
That would be interesting.
That would make it very interesting, having both of those guys in that division. Ryan Wheat's another guy who could spice up the Stock 4 division a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Looking at some of the divas that'll be with us, I know Heather Factor plans on running, since she was looking for some sponsorship. So if you're looking for a girl to sponsor, and she's going to run good, that'd be a good one. She'll be in the division. She won 2 divas races last year, won the Rookie of the Year, and I think she'll be good in the division. Who knows what Casey Brown will do? Maybe she'll get TJ off the couch and she'll just drive the car. I mean, she's a much better driver anyways. No offense to TJ. He does a good job, but
she's fearless. She is hammered down.
She's a little bit crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Lizzie Aquilina, I think she'll run a few races this year in Stock 4. Jordan Meadows, I believe, is planning on running a few races in the Stock 4 this year. Don't know that she'll run regularly. She's also, I believe, got a mini stock that she's looking at maybe testing. So we'll see what happens there. Celeste Clevenger, hopefully when she comes up, she'll be in the Stock 4 division. So we got some good people. Rookie division, people moving up. Obviously Larry Altus, we talked about him moving up from winning the championship in rookie into the Stock 4s. John Coe's moving more full time into the Stock 4s. Dakota Mitchell's moving into the Stock 4 division. Anthony Barrett, if he gets a car, he'll be moving into the Stock 4 division.
The Stock 4s are stacked.
They could very well be really, really stacked for sure. And there's a bunch of others, but. we'll see what happens. It's going to be really, really, really interesting to see what happens here, and I'm excited. Those 4 divisions, paring these divisions down, and getting the best out of them. You know what I mean, and getting the most car count. That's a paramount plan, of mine. Last year was an experiment. I'm gonna give you every division you want, but they got to prove themselves. Well, these are the 4 divisions. Well, I'm gonna take this back. There are 2 divisions that really proved themselves. That was the Stock 4s and the Legends. And I didn't know about the Legends. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Hell, we had one race that had 3 cars, and I was scared. We were early in the season, and I'm like, ooh, it's not good.
But it was still early.
It was,
you were
and it was
scared.
their first season ever. It was first season ever for these guys, and we don't have a racer base of them in this area. I mean, James Folds and Brad Shiflett was it, and now we got quite a few, probably 10 guys in our immediate area, and I'm not discounting Ethan Troll or Austin Sams, who already had cars. They're in Winston-Salem. They're more of a North Carolina based, but yeah, I consider they're one of our home guys too. But I didn't count them in that. But those 2 divisions proved themselves last year. The Stock 4s and the Legends proved themselves and put on great racing. The mini stocks, they started off the season really, really, really sluggish, really drama filled. They were drama filled all year, which is fine. I don't mind. Mind a little drama, little extracurricular activities, okay, every now and then. But toward the end of the season, they really proved themselves to outshine the rest of the divisions. And the late models, we need a big car class, and we had essentially 2 of them, and we had to get to 1. And the Super Streets just never performed, and I don't know why. And all those guys can race in this, so I'm looking forward to having those guys race in the late model division, and I'm looking forward to these 4 divisions. I mean, late models, mini stocks, Legends, and Stock 4s is a perfect four division lineup. We'll throw in all these touring series that I mentioned earlier, and throw in East. I was about to read off series again, but throw in maybe a couple of Divas races. For fun. We're not. I ruined the division by paying them and giving them points. I ruined them. 100% ruined them, and I know it.
And making them be real race cars.
Yeah. Well, and making them go to a set of rules that goes to another division. They were basically running on stock. So I ruined them 100%. But I'm gonna try to fix that. And if it doesn't fix that, then I'll just move on and we won't worry about it. But I'm gonna try to fix that. But I need them running in our stock 4s, or it doesn't do us a whole lot of good. So we'll see what happens there. The rookies was a great division, and it served its purpose in 2022, and it didn't really serve its purpose in 2023. And in 2024, it'll be with the stock 4s, and we'll just roll on down the road. They're all the same. They run basically the same speeds, and it's just different experience levels. And you can get that in any division, anywhere.
Just need some rookie stripes.
They will have that. So that's another thing I got to get to working on. The more I talk, the more I got to go to work and do some things. So. But, wanted to talk about these divisions and who we got coming and who's going to race. And I'm sure I forgot somebody who's messaged me and said, hey, man, I'm planning on coming to race with you. And I know I forgot to mention our flagman, Chris, earlier when I'm talking about how good our staff's going to be. He's another element to our staff.
Absolutely.
And then, you got Ronnie Gibson, who's another one who's been a great asset to us, for our pit road staff. He'll be back with us. David Burnett will be back with us as often as possible. David, if you're listening, I need you every race, not just whenever, you ain't working. You need to tell work that, racing comes first. We got priorities over here, man. Okay. I know you got to make a living, but we got priorities over here at the track. We ain't worried about all that work. But anyways, we just got a great year ahead of us. Really excited to get the banquet in next week. I'm going to try to get us a guest next week for the show, try to get, set up and out of here. But like I said, my week's I'm running out of time. I got so much going on, so many things going on at the racetrack, so much stuff going on with the banquet, so much stuff going on, in day-to-day life and everything. But we're trying. We're digging deep. Going to have a really good year. Got some people out selling sponsorships and taking care of some stuff, and got some people that I'm working on my end, and Kim's working on her end from sponsorships and different things that we can do. And having people involved. And the more we can get, the better we can make it for the racer, and the better we can make it for the fan. And it all goes hand in hand. We got a 56-year-old facility, and some people come there and they expect, it to be like, AT&T Stadium. Well, it's not, I promise. Okay, it's more like Weber Valley. Okay, if you know what that is, then you know what I mean.
If you don't, you should go look it up
for sure. But we're slowly progressing. One day we'll be AT&T Stadium. Okay, we'll be that nice and we'll be that great. We're already got the best racing there is. I don't care what any other racetrack thinks, says, or feels. We got the best racing there is. Our stock fours are better than late models at any other racetrack. I put my money on that 7 days a week and twice on Sunday. Well, I better make it twice on Saturday since we race on Saturdays. But anyways, all right, I'm going to wrap this thing up. Me and Kim's out of here. Kim, thank you for staying up like 14 hours past your bedtime. Hopefully you can catch up tonight and maybe sleep till 4:30 or something, in the morning, not in the evening. And we'll be back next week with another show. Appreciate you guys listening, and be sure to hit like or subscribe, or leave us a review or whatever you got to do. If you don't like us, don't leave us a review, but if you do, do it. And appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next week.